So we go back to that famous verse. I'm asking you this morning, state your intentions. Tell God what you believe. Be bold in your decision. We sing that song, stand up for Jesus. This is crazy. Guy comes up, opens the hymnal, turn to page 271, stand up for Jesus, remain seated. It's like, what happened to verse 3, man? Standing on the premises of God. Oh, no, promises, that's right. Now, see, we're sitting on the premises, not standing on the promises. We have invented a God who suits us, and it's not the God of this Bible. That's what Joshua was telling them. One guy out, one generation away from Moses, and he says, you can't even remember. Man, what a study this morning, the veil over the face of Moses. He'd been in the presence of God, glowing. Wow. Imogene Tissue, she's in a nursing home now, but she told me one day, she said, Pastor, when you were preaching this morning, there was a glow around your head. I'd never really seen anything like it. I said, well, Imogene, I'm going to try to stand in front of that stained glass window in the same place, and you see if it's there again. I hope she saw a glow. I hope it was Shekinah. That's what I'd rather it be, but I have a feeling it wasn't. I think it was the stained glass window behind me, but made her feel good. That was good enough for me. Moses' face was glowing because he'd been in the presence of God. Look at what Joshua said. You know the verse, but probably you don't know it all. You probably could quote the little bit, but let me give it all to you. Verse 15, if it seems evil to you to serve the Lord, choose for yourselves this day whom you will serve, whether the gods of that your fathers served that were on the other side of the river, that's G, little g, not God, little g gods, after other gods, and I reject the notion that our nation would be better off without God and without Christianity, but I accept the reality that the church hasn't done what it's supposed to do. We're supposed to bring the change that comes, and instead we sit back and we watch and we complain about the world, and we do nothing but cocoon ourselves into buildings, and we talk about the olden days. The church has let down. The church is let down. Nobody's going to take God away from us. We're going to give Him away. We're going to say, oh, we don't want to be perceived as strange. I do not agree with polygamy. Let me just say that before I close. I do not agree with polygamy. Does everybody know I don't agree with polygamy? You got to be insane to want more than one of those, but that's not what I'm talking about. Unless you could get 2 or 3 of those. That'd be different. I don't agree with polygamy because God said through, Adam, therefore a man shall leave his father and mother and be joined to his wife, and they two shall become one flesh. That's the model for marriage. There isn't another model. You say, yeah, but all through there was people that married multiple women. I ain't telling you God liked it. I'm telling you it happened. But I was watching some of that on the TV this week. They were interviewing some of those people. And they said, what was it like living on the compound? And this one lady said, why do you keep calling it a compound? It's where we lived. It's a city. It's our place. And this other lady, she said, do y'all watch the news? Did you realize all this was taking place? She said, I don't have a TV. Oh, you're not allowed to have a TV. The news person was putting it on to them. It has to be bad. It has to be bad. She said, some people do have TVs at the ranch. She wouldn't call it a compound. She said, I choose not to because I don't want my children to be affected by this world. So then another one, she said, what about you? She said, we don't have a television either. What about you? And she finally asked a man who was there. He said, we do have a television, and yes, I have been watching these proceedings on TV. I don't like it. And I was amazed. I'm sitting here thinking, you know what? They've done what I'm telling you we can't do. We can't put up a tall fence, gate ourselves in, and not affect the world. But if you're too weird, if you're too strange, the world's going to come after you and say, you can't have your beliefs. We simply won't have it. And they try their best to go after those people. And I don't know what the outcome will be. And again, I tell you, I'm not defending, I'm defending their right to worship God in the way they best see fit. But I'm telling you that God is the one who tells us the best way. And I'm asking men this morning, as for you and your house, what's it going to be? As for you and your house, you're going to serve the Lord, or you're going to compromise and lessen it down and say, oh, God's okay. God understands. God understands. There's a lot going on. I'm a busy man. God understands. I was thinking about this as I prepared this message. I used to go to work Sunday evening. I never got to go to church on Sunday night. I worked on Sunday evening for 5 years, basically almost every Sunday night of the world. I very seldom got a Saturday off. I actually would come home. I would work out on Saturday morning at 3 o'clock in the morning, go home, and many times not even undress or take a shower. I would just lay across the foot of the bed, try not to bother her, get up and go back to work after about 4 hours of sleep and work all day on Saturday. And we used to go shopping on Sunday. Now, we didn't do grocery shopping. I don't remember really, I can't have a real recall of buying anything, but we would go to Natchez and go to Howard Brothers. That was kind of the place. Walmart didn't exist yet, or it didn't exist in Mississippi. And I would walk around in Howard Brothers on Sunday afternoon, because I worked 6 days a week, 7 if you counted going to work on Sunday evening. I never really felt a tinge of guilt about that, I got to tell you. I didn't feel like I was attacking God. But at 6 o'clock, we were back at church. And I don't remember, well, I was at work. She was at church. I don't remember in my mind ever missing things, ever missing church to go do something else, because I said, I don't have any time for myself. I don't have Saturdays off. I can't do stuff on Saturday, so I do it on Sunday, and I'm sure God understands that. I don't have any recall of that. I know growing up, and you know, you just got to push the button. But when my son hit junior high age, he was done with baseball because they played Wednesday and Sunday. That wasn't going to fly at our house. And you say, yeah, but you're a preacher. What would people say? Same thing I say about y'all. Same thing. Somebody ought to say amen. Mighty quiet up in here. Half of you come back on Sunday night if we're lucky. Half of you come back on Sunday night. You know what a tank of gas costs you? I can walk to church, but I don't. I drive, so you realize I'm willing to buy my gas too. That's not the reason. Was that hard, Virgil? Virgil said, you going to preach hard to us? I said, no, man, no. Choose you this day whom you will serve. Choose you this day. And you say, but you don't understand. You don't understand. I do understand, and I've made those choices, and I do understand. I'm just asking you, who do you think is most well pleased with your decisions? And if you don't think it's God, then you check up with God. Don't check up with the preacher. Check up with God. Would you do that? Stand with me, men. Men, stand up. Men. Choose you this day whom you will serve. Now, if you have a wife beside you, reach and take her hand. I got to run down here where mine is. Have your wife stand beside you now.